Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Leah, who's flown all the way from Toronto to be with us. So thank you so much with her film Strangers. Let's take a look at the clip.
I'm on the brink. My beat ain't gonna stink. My mama thinks I'm nuts, but fuck, I kinda like my kink. Hey!
Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family.
Thank you.
We'll never let you go now, that's it.
Oh, you want A?
Yeah.
I just said A. That's very revealing. Yeah.
No, Leah, seriously, thank you so much, firstly, for being here in person to celebrate your film, but thank you so much for bringing your film that you know I absolutely love. For those that haven't seen it, tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you. So, Strangers is a short drama about a girl, an 8-year-old girl and her mother. They're on their way home from school one cold winter night. They miss their bus and they get a ride home with a stranger. It's a very simple story, but it's really about the disconnect between this mother and daughter and how they navigate the distance between them over the course of this night.
I really mean it. It was one of those films where I was transfixed, like just on story, on this relationship, on what was at stake, what was going on. It was really a mesmerizing story. As simple as you make it sound, I was really so into it, and in every frame, and what you gave us was really beautiful story.
Thank you.
Where did this kind of unravel, this inspiration to say, like, I've got this idea and I've got to turn it into a film?
So I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, which is Alberta's just north of Montana, and we have very cold winters. Sometimes the airport is the coldest place on Earth, and there are obviously very cold places on Earth.
Yeah.
But sometimes we get that we get that badge, and I just remember. Growing up, I was raised by my mother, and we would have to run for the bus in the winter after school to catch it. And that image really stuck with me. It's so cold, and it's just an image. It's just a part of my childhood, but it was so frequent that I think I really held on to it as an adult because it came to represent the difficulties of my childhood and the things that I wanted to run away from and leave as a child. And so I wrote Strangers actually on a plane ride on the way home to Edmonton once. And I had that image and that slice of life of us waiting for the bus. I didn't really know exactly what it represented. But then as I sort of started to delve into it more, I realized it was about, it was definitely about class. It was definitely about having been raised by a single Jamaican mother in Alberta in the 90s, which is kind of the cowboy country. It's the cowboy country of Canada. A very conservative place, a very white environment. And so I thought, I have this image of us just surrounded by snow. That was my memory. I was surrounded by whiteness, and my mother and I waiting for this bus. And what that represented, the kind of waiting for Godot. I don't know if you know Samuel Beckett, but this waiting for Godot, this waiting for what very much in my childhood was our relationship with whiteness, and particularly white men. And I would see these cars zoom by, and I thought we didn't have a car, and I thought, who is it who gets a car in this world? That was very connected to class and race for me, and white male absence, and knowing that for my mother to secure her survival, a lot of what I was taught was around how we orbited white men and that world. And that really shaped me as a person and as a woman of color, and something that I, as an adult, I really have had to face and unravel the ways in which our survival at that time depended on that relationship with that body, and what that did to me, and what that did to me artistically, and what I've had to Hopi, the young girl in the film, is right before she's interrupted by socialization, and she's a rebel questioning her mother's behavior, how her mother survives and assimilates, and how much that had to do with white men, as you'll see in the film if you see it. So.
Yeah, you did it, Leah, and there's multiple layers of your own personal experience that you displayed so wonderfully well through the lens of these characters, through cinematography, even just the symbolism of, like, you say about surrounded by whiteness, even the snow, you know what I mean? That symbolism that comes with the snow, because it was just thick snow and it was as cold as it looked, right? Which I know you're used to, but nevertheless. These characters, I mean, I know that obviously, essences that hold close to your heart, but these characters were brilliant. Like, the mother and daughter, the relationship, the moments that you gave us, and you did a really great job at like showcasing sort of like through the essence of the daughter and the essence of the mother and their experiences through both of them. Sometimes we can focus on one and then not show the other, but you did a great job in this sort of flow of the understanding of what it's like to be a child in this perspective, what it's like to be a mother in this perspective. Tell us about your cast. Tell us about how you went around directing this piece, because I'm just in love with the people you brought into the project.
Thank you, and I am too.
Yeah.
I think they're incredible. And so my background is I'm an actor as well. So I come to filmmaking from acting. I'm trained in the theater, and I love acting. It's my first love, first trade.
Yeah.
And so I really think I only started to direct because I wanted to create spaces and environments for myself as an actor, as a lot of actors and directors come from that kind of vision. And so for me, I knew that it was a piece, being the first piece that I directed and wrote, I really wanted to focus on performance. So it was going to be about, I was going to use this opportunity to really learn how to direct actors. I mean, you can't do that in one opportunity, and I'd had another opportunity previous to that helped teach me this. But I wanted the story and the cinematography to be about tracking performance. So I was very, very lucky that two of the cast members I had known before from a company called the Grace Moon Arts Company in Brooklyn. And so I knew them. And Gabrielle Graham, who plays Angela, the mother in the film, is a phenomenal actress. Like, phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Canadian, but also works in America. And so I had a relationship with her pre-existing, and I just knew that she would give it everything she could. And then the kind of wild card of it was finding the actress to play Hopi, who's played by Lorraine Brady, who lives in the Greater Toronto area. And that was not somebody I knew before. So we cast by asking around the Black film and television and theater community in Toronto. And we ended up doing auditions and found Lorraine, who was at that age, she was 9 at the time, had a rebellious nature that was the heart of this character. And I needed somebody who wasn't going to be afraid. And her family was so supportive, as you'd need on a short like this, given the material and given the ask. We shot overnight in the winter. And she was it.
She was it.
Yeah,
she was it. And you mentioned something about just being at that age before, kind of socialization is an influence. You're like, oh no, she's right at that cusp before you really start to engage sort of and see things through a sort of different lens as a preteen and adult. And she did a really great job.
Yeah.
For you as a director, given the material, how was your process as a director working with them?
Right. So we shot this overnight, as I said, in the winter during Omicron. So during this surge in the virus.
Oh, that was a horrible time, wasn't it?
So fun. And so, but because I come from the theater and I really, acting is very important to me, we rehearsed. That was key. I don't understand why people don't rehearse.
Yeah.
I understand it's expensive. Filmmaking's expensive. But like, when you don't focus on your actors and you don't focus on performance, at least in the background I come from and what I've been taught through the mentorship I've had, if you don't focus on that, you don't have a story. You can't wing that. You can't fake that.
Yeah.
So what was our saving grace was we rehearsed a lot to build the relationship, and some of that was on Zoom because we were isolated, we were distanced during lockdowns and stuff like that. And sometimes I was kind of babysitting Lorraine on Zoom, and I was like, this is great rehearsal time. And that was important. Relationship building, and talking through the content of the story in ways that were appropriate for an 8-year-old girl, and collaborating with her family on doing that. And really, I mean, I just really believe in also deepening your story and your script. So this started as a slice of life kind of script, but it had to, over the course of its development and with the actors, become not just a slice of life, but really I wanted it to be a kind of allegory. So we had to
Yeah.
really hone in on what about this was universal and not just particular to my experience. So a lot of discussions with the actors, and a lot of of work over Zoom, building relationship.
Yeah, but you know what? All that work you put into it, I really felt that. Like, I really felt like, you know, when you left us in moments when there was no dialogue, I felt like an entire memory or backstory or a moment in time or reflection. Like, you gave us all of that. And I think you coming from the theater, I think every actor should do theater, not just go straight to TV and film. There's a real depth of discipline you learn from the theater.
You do.
And I think, you know, you're a great director, like, because you know actors and, you know, you know how to work with actors. And I think that takes, every director should act to sort of really to understand that process. Firstly, I mean, listen, we're all sitting here in sunny California, okay?
Yes, we
I
are.
was freezing cold just watching it. I think I put on a sweater and just warmed up with my cats.
Yeah.
But like, how was it as cold as it looked? Like, my God, like, how did you cope with that?
Yes,
It was crazy.
so I'm an ambitious person, and when I wrote this, I was like, you know, it's like two characters waiting at a bus stop, and this other character comes by and picks them up. Like, we can shoot this. Winter, like, we'll have some, you know, hot pause.
Yeah.
The first night of so also, you know, it was just a huge learning curve for me. This piece, we intended to shoot it over 3 nights. That became 5 nights. We lost half our first night of shooting because the temperature dropped.
Wow.
I don't know how to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit.
No,
but
don't even do I. I'm still
yes.
trying to figure
so
out.
minus 25 Celsius, which
That's
is
cold, everybody. It's
It's
cold,
frostbite
okay? It's cold.
cold. It's
Yeah.
frostbite cold, and so that was learning for me. You know, I was ambitious, and I had an amazing team of people, like truly gracious. That was also. That saved me because they were willing to do extra days. But so how do we do this? We ended up adding extra days, and you can only, especially there are union rules of working with a child, so you have to take certain breaks, you have to make sure that there's warmth, etc. But as I said, our rehearsals saved us because I wasn't worried for a second when we got to shooting about performance. That if we had to worry about that while braving the elements and this virus and, you know, overnight, like, that's too much. So preparation was really, really key from this process. And
Yeah.
honestly, you just do whatever you need to do to finish the film. So I didn't feel the cold. I was too adrenalized. So I had to check in with other people. I was, how cold is it right now? Is it cold? I feel fine. Everybody's like, it's cold. Yeah.
My goodness, no, you're running off adrenaline. Absolutely, we all know that wondrous feeling.
Yeah, and we shot outside of Toronto, even though it's based on my Alberta
Yes.
experience. We shot it in Ontario.
Well, we're obviously very grateful to have you here with us, and obviously your film feels so much better and brighter when it's on a big screen. It was certainly just amazing to see your film on the big screen yesterday. How has the experience been for you taking it around? What has it been like for you taking this particular film around?
Yes, thank you. That's a great question. I think by virtue of it being something that is close to me, probably one of the most interesting aspects of sharing it, of course, is to hear when viewing it, oh, what are people listening to? Like, what are they hearing this time? Or what are they not hearing? And I think that it's been amazing to see how the piece resonates, obviously, with people who share similar backgrounds, but also there's a class element to this piece, no matter what your racial background is. There's just something that people know if they come from a similar class. Notions of having access or not having access to privileges and the envy of that. Also, being raised by a single mother, that's a point of reference that a lot of people have talked about, or a single parent even, but also just women's relationships to men, and particularly racialized communities' relationships to whiteness. But again, I think that the film, because it just was about the heart of a mother-daughter relationship, I hope it transcends that particular kind of that particular worldview, which is my worldview. I hope it's had some universal resonance. It's been important. It's so important to share your work.
So important,
And
so
you-
important.
yeah,
You did
to
a
take that
great
lead.
job, and through all the different aspects of why you made this story, and through your experience and and the lens and the community that you grew up in. It was such an important film to put out there. And even from my tiny little perspective, I remember not having a car, growing up with a single parent, and literally thinking, watching these cars go past, carrying all this shopping in the God knows what weather, and thought, God, I wish we had a car right now. Like,
it represents
you know,
so much
yeah.
about the world as a child. And
Yeah.
you don't necessarily know that consciously until you grow up and you're like, I look back on that moment and I was shaping a worldview.
Yeah.
And my parent was shaping a worldview.
Yeah.
And that becomes a part of me that helps me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it becomes a part of me that I'm stuck on.
Yeah.
But until, at least what I've been taught, until you look at that thing from many angles, you can't really alchemize it into something that gives you freedom. And that's what this piece was for me, was looking at it.
Well, I hope that you're going to be directed again. Where's next? Where are you taking us next?
So we're in post-production right now on a short film, very different, an experimental short film called Fine Black Frame, which my dearest friend and colleague Thomas Olajide wrote and performed in. It's a one-man show.
Amazing.
That's a short. And then at the end of this summer, I am producing another short called Party of One. And that's my first time acting in something that I'm directing and writing. So we're just like adding one more piece.
Yeah, you can do it. Yes,
Thank you. I appreciate
will.
it. It's just challenging myself to keep pushing forward and developing my first feature.
Exciting. I'm ready for whatever world and universe you put us into. So just, thank you so much for bringing strangers to us. And just lastly, for all of the filmmakers out there, any piece of advice that you go by, any part of your craft that you can share with the audience that you find important that you could share with others?
100%. Practice something. Practice. Find mentorship. I've been very, very fortunate to have that. Sometimes all it takes is one person. This industry is extremely, at times, inhumane. So do not wait for people to give you opportunity. Just make something.
Yes.
And this imposter syndrome thing is understandable, but the truth is, nobody knows how to do anything until they do it, and then they still don't know. But there's just a difference between the people who realize something and are willing to go through. There's a long tunnel. It's very dark in that tunnel, and most people give up in the darkness of that tunnel. But the follow through is important. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yes.
And otherwise, just people spend their whole lives waiting to be picked or discovered or chosen, especially having come from an acting background. So I just think, start sooner than later and just do it.
Yes.
Make it happen however it needs to happen.
Like you are and like you have. And thank you so much. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and we're so happy to have you part of New Filmmakers LA family. Thank you for being here. Thank you for strangers. Leah, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.